When I came unto men for the first time, then did I commit the anchorite folly, the great folly. I appeared on the marketplace, and when I spake unto all, I spake unto none. In the evening, however, rope dancers were my companions, and corpses, and myself almost a corpse. With the new morning, however, there came unto me a new truth. Then did I learn to say, of what account to me a marketplace, and populous noise, and long populous years? Ye higher men, learn this from me. On the marketplace no one believeth in higher men, but if ye will speak there, very well. The populace, however, blinketh. We are all equal. Ye higher men, so blinketh the populace. There are no higher men. We are all equal. Man is man. Before God, we are all equal. Before God? Now, however, this God had died. Before the populace, however, we will not be equal. Ye higher men, away from the marketplace. Section 2. Before God. Now, however, this God had died. Ye higher men, this God was your greatest danger. Only since he lay in the grave have ye again arisen. Now only cometh the great moontide. Now only doth the higher man become master. Have ye understood this word, O my brethren? Ye are frightened. Do your hearts turn giddy? Doth the abyss here yawn for you? Doth the hell-hound here help at you? Well, take heart, ye higher men. Now only travelleth the mountain of the human future. God had died. Now do we desire the Superman to live. 3. The most careful ask today, how is man to be maintained? Zarathustra, however, asketh, as the first and only one, how is man to be surpassed? The Superman I have at heart, that is the first and the only thing to me, and not man, not the neighbor, not the poorest, not the sorriest, not the best. O my brethren, what can I love in man is that he is an overgoing and downgoing, and also in you there is much that maketh me love and hope. In that ye have despised, ye higher men, that maketh me hope, as the great despisers are the great reverers. In that ye have despaired, there is much to honor, for ye have not learned to submit yourselves, ye have not learned petty policy. For today have petty people become master. They all preach submission and humility, and policy and diligence, and consideration, and the long etc. of petty virtues. Whatever is the effeminate type, whatever originateth from the servile type, and especially in the populous mishmash, that wisheth now to be master of all human destiny. Or disgust, 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 that asketh and never tireth, how is man to maintain himself best, longest, most pleasantly? Thereby are they the masters of today? These masters of today surpass them. O my brethren, these petty people, they are Superman's greatest danger. Surpass, ye higher man, the petty virtues, the petty policy, the sanguine considerateness, the anthill trumpery, the pitiable comfortableness, the happiness of the greatest number. And rather despair than submit yourselves. And verily, I love you, because ye know not today how to live, ye higher men, for thus do ye live best. 4. Have ye courage, O my brethren? Are ye stout-hearted? Not the courage before the witness, but anchorite and eagle courage. which not even a god any longer beholdeth. Cold souls, mules, the blind and the drunken, I do not call stout-hearted. He had a heart who knoweth fear, but vanquisheth it, who seeth the abyss, but with pride. He who seeth the abyss, but with eagle's eyes, he who with eagle's talons graspeth the abyss, he hath courage. 5. Man is evil, so said to me for consolation, all the wisest ones. Ah, if only it be still true today, for the evil is man's best foes. Man must become better and eviler. So do I teach. The evilest is necessary for the superman's best. It may have been well for the preacher of the petty people to suffer and be burdened by men's sin. I, however, rejoice in great sin as my consolation. Such things, however, are not said for long ears. Every word, also, is not suited for every mouth. These are fine far-away things. At them sheep's claws shall not grasp. 6. Ye higher men, think ye that you sufferers, or show you restless, miswandering, misclimbing ones, new and easier footpaths? Nay, nay, 3 times nay, always more, always better ones of your type shall succumb. For ye shall always have it worse and harder. Thus only groweth man aloft to the height where the lightning striketh and shattereth him high enough for the lightning. Towards the few, the long, the remote go forth my soul, and my seeking, of what account to me are your many little, short miseries. Ye do not yet suffer enough for me, for ye suffer from yourselves. Ye have not yet suffered from man. Ye would lie if ye spake otherwise. None of you suffereth from what I have suffered. 7. It is not enough for me that the lightning no longer doeth harm. I do not wish to conduct it away. It shall learn to work for me. My wisdom had accumulated long like a cloud. It becometh stiller and darker. So doeth all wisdom. We shall one day bear lightnings. And to these men of today will I not be light, nor be called light. Them will I blind, lightning of my wisdom, put out their eyes. 8. Do not will anything beyond your power. There is a bad falseness in those who will beyond their power, especially when they will great things. For they awaken distrust in great things, these subtle false coiners and stage players, until at last they are false towards themselves, squint-eyed, whited cankers, glossed over with strong words, parade virtues and brilliant false deeds. Take good care there, ye higher men, for nothing is more precious to me and rarer than honesty. Is this today not that of the populace? The populace, however, knoweth not what is great and what is small, what is straight and what is honest. It is innocently crooked, it ever lieth. 9. Have a good distress today, ye higher men, ye enheartened ones, ye open-hearted ones, and keep your reasons secret, for this today is that of the populace. What the populace once learned to believe without reasons, who could refute it to them by means of reasons? And on the marketplace one convinceth with gestures. But reasons make the populace distrustful, and when truth hath once triumphed there, Then ask yourself with good distrust, what strong error hath fought for it? Be on your guard also against the learned. They hate you because they are unproductive. They have cold, withered eyes before which every bird is unplumed. Such persons want about not lying, but inability to lie is still far from being love to truth. Be on your guard. Freedom from fever is still far from being knowledge. Refrigerated spirits I do not believe in. He who cannot lie doth know what truth is. 10. If ye would go up high, then use your own legs. Do not get yourselves carried aloft. Do not seat yourselves on other people's backs and heads. Thou hast mounted, however, on horseback. Thou now risest briskly up to thy goal. Well, my friend, but thy lame foot is also with thee on horseback. When thou reachest thy goal, when thou alightest from the horse, precisely on thy height, thou higher man, then wilt thou stumble. 11. Ye creating ones, ye higher men, one is only pregnant with one's own child. Do not let yourselves be imposed upon or put upon. Who then is your neighbor? Even if ye act for your neighbor, ye still do not create for him. Unlearn, I pray you, this, for ye creating ones, your very virtue wisheth you to have naught to do with for, and on account of, and because. Against these false little words shall ye stop your ears. For one's neighbor is the virtue only of the petty people. There it is said, like and like, and hand washeth hand. They have neither the right nor the power for your self-seeking. In your self-seeking, ye creating ones, there is the foresight and foreseeing of the pregnant. What no one's eye hath yet seen, namely, the fruit, this sheltereth and saveth and nourisheth your entire love. Where your entire love is, namely, with your child, there is also your entire virtue. Your work, your will is your neighbor. Let no false values impose upon you. 12. Ye creating ones, ye higher men, whoever hath to give birth is sick. Whoever hath given birth, however, is unclean. Ask women, one giving birth, not because it giveth pleasure. The pain maketh hens and poets cackle. Ye creating ones, in you there is much uncleanliness. That is because ye have had to be mothers. A new child, oh, how much new filth hath also come into the world. Go apart. He who hath given birth shall wash his soul. 13. Be not virtuous beyond your powers, and seek nothing from yourselves opposed to probability. Walk in the footsteps in which your father's virtue hath already walked. How would ye rise high, if your father's will should not rise with you? He, however, who would be a firstling, let him take care lest he also become a lastling. And where the vices of your fathers are, there should ye not set up as saints. He whose fathers were inclined for women, and for strong wine and flesh of wild boar swine, what would it be if he demanded chastity of himself? A folly would it be. Much, verily, doth it seem to me for such a one if he should be the husband of one or two or of three women, and if he found in monasteries and inscribed over their portals the way to holiness, I should still say, what good is it? It is a new folly. He has founded for himself a penance, house and refuge. House much good may it do, but I do not believe in it. In solitude there groweth what any one bringeth into it, also the brute in one's nature. Thus is solitude inadvisable unto many. Had there ever been anything filthier on earth than the saints of the wilderness? Around them was not only the devil loose, but also the swine. 14. Shy, ashamed, awkward, like the tiger whose spring hath failed. Thus, ye higher men, have I often seen you slink aside, a cast which a maid had failed. But what doth it matter? Ye dice players, ye had not learned to play and mock, as one must play and mock. Do we not ever sit at a great table of mocking and playing? And if great things have been a failure with you, have ye yourselves therefore been a failure? And if ye yourselves have been a failure, hath man therefore been a failure? If man, however, hath been a failure, well then, never mind. 15. They hire its type, always the seldomer doth a thing succeed. Ye hire men here, have ye not all been failures? Be of good cheer, what doth it matter? How much is still possible? Learn to laugh at yourselves, as ye ought to laugh. What wonder even that ye have failed, and only half succeeded, ye half-shattered ones? Doth not man's future strive and struggle in you? Man's furthest, profoundest, star-highest issues, his prodigious powers, do not all those foam through one another in your vessel? What wonder that many a vessel shattereth? Learn to laugh at yourselves, as ye ought to laugh, ye higher men. Oh, how much is still possible! And verily, how much hath already succeeded! How rich in this earth is small, good, perfect things in well-constituted things. Set around you small, good, perfect things, ye higher men. Their golden maturity healeth the heart, the perfect teacheth one to hope. 16. What hath hitherto been the greatest sin here on earth? Was it not the word of him who said, Woe unto them that laugh now? Did he himself find no cause for laughter on the earth? Then he sought badly. A child even findeth cause for it. He did not love sufficiently, otherwise would he also have loved us, the laughing ones. But he hated and hooted us, wailing and teeth gnashing did he promise us. Must one then curse immediately, when one doth not love? That seemeth to me bad taste. Thus did he, however, this absolute one. He sprang from the populace, and he himself just did not love sufficiently. Otherwise would he have raged less, because people did not love him. All great love doth not seek love, it seeketh more. Go out of the way of all such absolute ones. They are a poor sickly type, a populous type. They look at this life with ill will. They have an evil eye for this earth. Go out of the way of all such absolute ones. They have heavy feet and sultry hearts. did not know how to dance. How could the earth be light to such ones? 17. Tortuously do all good things come nigh to their goal. Like cats they curve their backs, they whirl inwardly with their approaching happiness. All good things laugh. His step betrayeth whether a person already walketh on his own path. Just see me walk. He, however, who cometh nigh to his goal, danceth. And verily, a statue have I not become. Not yet do I stand there stiff, stupid, and sturdy, like a pillar. I love fast racing. And though there be on earth fens and dense afflictions, he who hath light feet runneth even across the mud, and danceth as upon well-swept ice. Lift up your hearts, my brethren, high, higher, and do not forget your legs. Lift up also your legs, ye good dancers, and better still, if ye stand upon your heads. 18. This crown of the laughter, this rose garland crown, I myself has put on this crown. I myself have consecrated my laughter. No one else have I found today put enough for this. Zarathustra the dancer, Zarathustra the light one, who beckoneth with his pinions, one ready for flight, beckoning unto all birds, ready and prepared, a blissfully light-spirited one. Zarathustra the sooth laugher, no impatient one, no absolute one who loveth leaps and side leaps, I myself have put on this crown. 19. Lift up your hearts, my brethren, high, higher, and do not forget your legs. Lift up your legs, ye good dancers, and better still if you stand upon your heads. There are also heavy animals in a state of happiness. There are club-footed ones from the beginning. Curiously do they exert themselves, like an elephant, which endeavoureth to stand upon its head. Better, however, to be foolish with happiness than foolish with misfortune. Better to dance awkwardly than walk lamely. So learn, I pray you, my wisdom, ye higher men. Even the worst thing had two good reverse sides. Even the worst thing had good dancing legs. So learn, I pray you, ye higher men, to put yourselves on your proper legs. So unlearn, I pray you, the sorrow sighting and all the populace sadness. Oh, how sad the buffoons of the populace seem to me today. This today, however, is that of the populace. 20. Do like unto the wind when it rusheth forth from its mountain caves, unto its own piping will it dance. The seas tremble and leap under its steps. That which giveth wings to asses, that which milketh the lances, praised be that good and ruly spirit, which cometh like a hurricane unto all the present and unto all the populace, which is hostile to thistle heads and puzzle heads, and to all withered leaves and weeds. Praised be this wild, good, free spirit of the storm, which danceth upon fens and afflictions, as upon meadows, which hateth the consumptive populous dogs, and all the ill-constituted, sullen brood. Praised be the spirit of all free spirits, the laughing storm, which bloweth dust into the eyes of all the melanopic and melancholic. Ye higher men, the worst thing in you is that ye have none of you learned to dance as ye ought to dance beyond yourselves. What doth it matter that ye have failed? How many things are still possible? So learn to laugh beyond yourselves. Lift up your hearts, ye good dancers, high, higher, and do not forget the good laughter. This crown of the laughter, this rose garland crown, to you, my brethren, do I cast this crown. Laughing have I consecrated, ye higher men, learn, I pray you, to laugh. The Ugliest Man. And again did Zarathustra's feet run through mountains and forests, and his eyes sought and sought, but nowhere was he to be seen whom they wanted to see, the sorely distressed sufferer and crier. On the whole way, however, he rejoiced in his heart, and was full of gratitude. What good things, said he, had this day given me, as amends for its bad beginning. What strange interlocutors have I found! At their words will I now chew a long while, as a good corn. Small shall my teeth grind and crush them, until they flow like milk into my soul. When, however, the path again curved round a rock, all at once the landscape changed, and Zarathustra entered into a realm of death. Here bristled aloft black and red cliffs, without any grass, tree, or bird's voice, for it was a valley which all animals avoided, even the beasts of prey, except that a species of ugly, thick, green serpent came here to die when they became old. Therefore the shepherds called this valley Serpent Death. Zarathustra, however, became absorbed in dark recollections, for it seemed to him as if he had once before stood in this valley, and much heaviness settled on his mind, so that he walked slowly and always more slowly, and at last stood still. Then, however, when he opened his eyes, he saw something sitting by the wayside, shaped like a man, and hardly like a man, something nondescript, and all at once there came over Zarathustra a great shame, because he had gazed on such a thing. Blushing up to the very roots of his white hair, he turned aside his glance, and raised his foot that he might leave this ill-starred place. Then, however, became the dead wilderness vocal, for from the ground a voice welled up, gurgling and rattling, as water gurgleth and rattleth at night, through stopped-up water pipes, and at last it turned into human voice and human speech. It sounded thus: Zarathustra, Zarathustra, read my riddle. Say, what is the revenge on the witness? I entice thee black. Here is smooth ice. See to it, that the bride do not here break its legs. Thou thinkest thyself wise, thou proud Zarathustra. Read then the riddle, thou hard nutcracker, the riddle that I am. Say then, who am I? When, however, Zarathustra had heard these words, what think ye then took place in his soul? Pity overcame him, and he sank down all at once, like an oak that hath long withstood many tree fellers, heavily, suddenly, to the terror of even those who meant to fell it. But suddenly he got up again from the ground, and his countenance became stern. I know thee well, said he, with a brazen voice. Thou art the murderer of God. Let me go. Thou couldst not endure him who beheld thee, who ever beheld thee through and through, thou ugliest man. thou tookest revenge on his witness. Thus spake Zarathustra, and was about to go, but the nondescript grasped at a corner of his garment, and began anew to gurgle and seek for words. "Stay," said he at last, "stay, do not pass by. I have divined what axe it was that struck thee to the ground. Hail to thee, O Zarathustra, that thou art again upon thy feet. Thou hast divined, I know it well, how the man feeleth who killed him, the murderer of God. Stay, sit down here beside me. It is not to no purpose. To whom would I go but unto thee? Stay, sit down. Do not, however, look at me. Honor thus mine ugliness. They persecute me. Now art thou my last refuge. Not with their hatred, not with their beliefs. Oh, such persecution would I mock at, and be proud and cheerful. Had not all succeeded hitherto been with the well persecuted ones? And he who persecuteth well learneth readily to be obsequient, when once he is put behind. But it is their pity is it, from which I flee away, and flee to thee. O Zarathustra, protect me, thou, my last refuge, thou sole one who divinest me. Thou hast divined how the man feeleth who killed him. Stay, and if thou wilt go, thou impatient one, go not the way that I came. That way is bad. Art thou angry with me because I have already racked language so long? Because I have already counselled thee? But know that it is I, the ugliest man, who have also the largest, heaviest feet. Where I have gone, the way is bad. I tread all paths to death and destruction. But that thou passedst me by in silence, that thou blushedst, I saw it well thereby. Did I know thee as Zarathustra? Everyone else would have thrown to me his arms, his pity, in look and speech, but for that I am not beggar enough. That didst thou divine. For that I am too rich, rich in what is great, frightful, ugliest, most unutterable. Thy shame, O Zarathustra, honoured me. With difficulty did I get out of the crowd of the pitiful, that I might find the only one who at present teacheth that pity is obtrusive. Thyself, O Zarathustra. Whether it be the pity of a god, or whether it be human pity, it is offensive to modesty. An unwillingness to help may be nobler than the virtue that rusheth to do so. That, however, namely pity, is called virtue itself at present by all petty people. They have no reverence for great misfortune, great ugliness, great failure. Beyond all these do I look, as a dog looketh over the backs of thronging flocks of sheep. They are petty, good-willed, grey people. As the heron looketh contemptuously at shallow pools with backward bent head, so do I look at a throng of grey little waves and wills and souls. Too long have we acknowledged them to be right, those petty people, so we have at last given them power as well. And now, do they teach that God is only what petty people call good, and truth is at present what the preacher Spake, who himself sprang from them, that singular saint and advocate of the petty people, who testified of himself, "I am the truth." That immodest one hath long made the petty people greatly puffed up. He who taught no small error when he taught, "I am the truth." Hath an immodest one ever been answered more courteously? Thou, however, O Zarathustra, passedst him by, and saidst, "Nay, nay, 3 times nay." Thou warnedst against his error. Thou warnedst, the first to do so, against pity. Not everyone, not none, but thyself and thy type. Thou art ashamed of the shame of the great sufferer, and verily, when thou sayest, "From pity there cometh a heavy cloud," take heed, ye men. When thou teachest, "All creators are hard, all great love is beyond their pity," O Zarathustra, how well versed dost thou seem to me in weather signs. Thou thyself, however, warn thyself also against thy pity, for many are on their way to thee, many suffering, doubting, despairing, drowning, freezing ones. I warn thee also against myself. Thou hast read my best, my worst riddle, myself, and what I have done. I know the axe that felleth thee. But he had to die. He looked with eyes which beheld everything. He beheld men's steps and dregs, all his ignominy and ugliness. His pity knew no modesty. He crept into my dirtiest corners. This most prying, over-intrusive, over-pitiful one had to die. He ever beheld me. On such a witness I would have revenge, or not live myself. The God who beheld everything, and also man, that God had to die. Man cannot endure it, that such a witness should live. Thus spake the ugliest man. Zarathustra, however, got up, and prepared to go on, for he felt frozen to the very bowels. "Thou nondescript," said he, "thou warnest me against thy path. As thanks for it, I praise mine to thee. Behold, up thither is the cave of Zarathustra. My cave is large and deep, and hath many corners. There findeth he that is most hidden his hiding place, and close beside it there are 100 lurking places and by places for creeping, fluttering, and hopping creatures. Thou outcast, who hast cast thyself out, thou wilt not live amongst men and men's pity. Well then, do like me. Thus wilt thou learn also from me. Only the doer learneth. And talk first and foremost to mine animals, the proudest animal and the wisest animal. They might well be the right counsellors for us both." Thus spake Zarathustra, and went his way, more thoughtfully and slowly even than before, for he asked himself many things, and hardly knew what to answer. "How poor indeed is man," thought he in his heart. "How ugly, how wheezy, how full of hidden shame. They tell me that man loveth himself. Ah, how great must that self-love be! How much contempt is opposed to it! Even this man hath loved himself, as yet despised himself. A great lover methinketh he is, and a great despiser. No one have I yet found who more thoroughly despised himself. Even that is elevation. Alas, was this perhaps the higher man whose cry I heard? I love the great despisers. Man is something that had to be surpassed. End of chapter 67.